He was a force when he was fresh, so got some things to build on.
And talking about Seth, what kind of boost was that just to get that piece of news that he was going to finally be cleared and be able to be on the field for the Falcons?
Well, it was a boost for our team. I think our team was happy for Seth, and I think gives them a little bit more confidence to know that they've got a guy of his caliber, back in the mix. But I think the big thing is I was happy for Seth. He's hungry and he's been sitting out and waiting on this opportunity. So, for him, I was happy to see him get back in there and compete tonight.
Seth Vaughn, a commit to Furman, and he got his first service tonight and made an impact definitely for the Falcons. Anderson County was a team 0-2 coming in, but you knew that they had a lot of firepower.
Well, we respected everything they've done up to this point, respect their program. Our guys did not overlook them. They got beat by two good football teams. It was a shootout against Powell, and then played a pretty good Science Hill 6A team last week, and but they're very talented and do a good job up there. So we got beat by a good football team tonight.
The Falcons got on the board first in the ball game after holding Anderson County. I believe held them on fourth down, get the ball back, and the drive doesn't go too well, and the Falcons have to punt. Marcellus Jackson in punt formation, and for the first time this year, you get the fake punt. It goes 68 yards for a touchdown. Well executed and well blocked. A great play by Marcellus to put the Falcons up 7-0.
Yeah, just a little bit surprised, that they lined up the way they did, and when they do that, Marcellus has got a green light, and it's something we work on and talk about during the week, and gives us another dimension in the punting game. And he made a big play for us right there, and we got off to a fast start.
Anderson County with 3:57 remaining in the first quarter. Martinez hits Miller for a 41-yard touchdown pass. A really tough play to get the score, to get it tied up at 7-7. Do you feel like, were you surprised that you weren't able to sustain the momentum of getting that first touchdown that long in the game?
Yeah, I was hoping that we could get one and get another stop, and get the ball back and maybe do something with it. And again, you've seen this before, when momentum is on our side, that would have been a huge boost if we could have done that. But they were able to, kind of take the top off of us right there and get one over us in the end zone and tied it back up, and kind of momentum shifted again right there.
Two more touchdown passes by Anderson County puts the Mavericks up 22-7, approaching the midway point of the second quarter. And really at that point, Anderson County in their previous two games had been up 21-7 in the first two games they had this year. So you had to feel like, even though that Anderson County had some momentum, you could still claw your way back into the ball game.
Yeah, there was no doubt at that time for us. We weren't doubting ourselves. Didn't feel like we would put ourselves in a situation where we couldn't win. Our guys were still up and hungry at the time, and I'm not sure that I don't think we tucked it in at that time. I felt like our guys were going, and I felt good about it too. And it was just a matter of, can we put something together and kind of stop the bleeding.
You put together a nice, really gut check drive right before halftime to score with 1:26 remaining in the first half. Davion Chenault, you mentioned him earlier, a tough 7-yard touchdown run to make the score 22-14 going into halftime.
Well, again, I felt like at halftime we had the momentum after putting that drive together. We're down a score, and it was a tough drive. We had to convert some things, and we moved the ball running it right there and established a little running game. So, I felt good going into halftime.
Fulton would get the second half kickoff, but a turnover on the sky kick, and that really, I think, was a big momentum play in the football game. Instead of Fulton having the ball with a chance to tie, Anderson County is able to punch it in and go up 29-14.
Yeah, I think that was one of the turning points, and again, it wasn't a surprise to us. We've seen them do that. We kind of expected it. We talked about it during the week. Had guys where we wanted them. We're dealing with some injuries at halftime and had to sub some guys in some areas there, and good kick, and we we didn't execute what we were supposed to execute there. They got it back, and again, that's one of those things that one's on us.
Gavin Noe, the fine running back for Anderson County, had a couple of touchdowns in the second half of the ball game to help Anderson County extend the lead. And at times you did a good job of bottling him up, but then some other times he was able to break loose.
Yeah, tough runner. Big, strong guy. I like the way he plays. Remind me of some of the guys that we've had in the past. And but yeah, he's tough. We gave him some shots tonight, but he probably had 100 and I don't know what he had tonight, but he's a workhorse for them, and we knew going in he would be.
And Fulton closes out the scoring on another touchdown run by Davion Chenault. And Davion on the game for the third time this year goes over 100 yards rushing, 22 carries for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Falcons. Another good performance, and I know you like to be able to run the football, and what he's been able to do this year has definitely given you that opportunity.
We've got to put one of those together where we're able to run it well and throw it well and put the two of those together and keep people off balance. But yeah, Davion ran. I told him after the game I thought he was a workhorse. And those were not easy yards tonight. I mean, the yards that he got, he worked for, and he did have some help up front. We did at times a really good job of getting pushed. We did a really good job of creating some angles and opening some things up for him, and he was able to hit them up in there. So another good performance by him.
Really, you go back, and I'm sure as you'll look at the film, you'll see a lot of missed opportunities tonight, especially there in the third quarter, trying to crawl back into the ball game. You get a goal-to-go situation and weren't able to punch it in after probably one of the more unusual plays you'll ever see, and that was a fumble on I believe it was a third down situation, and Seth Vaughn picks it up and runs it for a first down.
Made me think about giving him the ball some. I know he was gassed at the time. Yeah, we got it down there again, and we've talked about that before, how important it is when you get in the red zone to get points, and we didn't there, and I'm going to take some of that, play calling. There's a few things I felt like we didn't execute, and then there's a couple that I'd like to have back myself.
Yeah, these shootout type games against a team like Anderson County, really every time you have the football is going to be critical.
It is, and unfortunately for us, I looked at, we're on our way back on the bus, and I was kind of recapping the game in my head and thinking about how many times we, and I told our team after the game, this game is set up where, it's first down and you got 10 yards to convert, and we put ourselves in a situation where we're behind the chain, so, first and 20 or second and 20 just due to a penalty or whatever, you put yourself in those situations, and, 20 yards is hard to convert, and we put ourselves in that situation way too many times tonight. And I told him, shooting yourself in the foot like that, man, it's hard to beat a good team when you do that.
Yeah, 11 penalties for 115 yards, and almost every one of those penalties just really killed the Falcons tonight.
They were daggers, came at bad times, and sometimes you can have a hustle penalty here or there, and sometimes it doesn't kill you, but it seemed like tonight every time we had one, it was in a situation where it really put us in a bad spot.
And we saw a lot of chop block penalties tonight. What was the explanation on what was happening on those plays?
It's a new rule emphasis that they're on this year, and where if you're going to cut somebody at the line of scrimmage, it's got to be an immediate cut, and we've been working on it. Coach Rich teaches it. We felt like we were doing it right, and so I think one big one, I think we had a pretty decent play, and they got Landon on a chop, and a guy said he didn't go down immediately, that he hesitated before he cut, and so he got us on that. I'll look at it on film. I can't argue that right now, but we'll take a look at it and make sure that we're doing it the right way, but we were successful doing that a lot tonight.
What were some other guys tonight that you thought that played well that maybe we haven't mentioned or maybe don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet?
Well, I thought Keenan Vaughn, had another good game. There's a guy that's a former tight end that we've asked to move to guard, and, gutsy performance by him. And then on top of that, he's playing about every down on defense for us. And, I know he ran down the quarterback there a few times. I think he got his hand on a ball, tipped a ball on a pass, maybe on a third down one time, and so he did a good job. Cameron Stokes is, you can't say enough about him. I mean, he's playing about every snap on both sides of the ball, and as a lineman, that's tough. I mean, you're engaged with somebody every play, and so, but you know, he's been a starter since the day he walked on this campus, and he's now a senior. So he's played a lot of football for us, and he's a captain kind of guy. You know, he's the kind of guy that I want these other guys to watch and say that's how you play the game. And so, you know, I can't say enough about him. You know, Marcellus made some plays for us again tonight. You mentioned while they go on the fake punt, caught a couple of big balls for us, and you know, did a good job defensively. You know, we ask him to do a lot, and but we never can put too much on his plate.
So moving forward after this week, it's a tough region loss, kind of puts you behind the 8 ball. What's your message to your team moving forward as they get ready for West next week?
Well, you know, I told them, you know, afterwards in the locker room, you know, this one would have been a huge win for us, but it doesn't kill us. You know, it just puts us in a situation now where, you know, you got to go knock somebody off now. And it would have been great to, you know, turn around and look and say, hey, you're 3-0, 1-0 in the conference and against a good Anderson County team, and we didn't get that done tonight. So now we've got to make sure that you know, we don't slip up again. You know, because you know, you look at Gibbs and Carter and very much improved, and you know, South Dual's got a good football team. So there's probably going to be a good football team that doesn't make the playoffs in our region. So so every week's got to matter to us, and we just got to get ourselves better.
Well, yesterday I know was a very busy day for you in addition to normal practice and your responsibilities on UT game days with the instant replay. You had a chance to be a part of a very special ceremony honoring a Fulton High School legend, Jackie Walker, as the University of Tennessee honored him and 3 others with the Trailblazer statues that were unveiled in front of Neyland Stadium. Tell us a little bit about that experience and having the opportunity to be there for that ceremony.
Well, it was pretty neat. You know, the University of Tennessee did an unbelievable job with the ceremony. I think right outside of Gate 21, 4 statues of Trailblazers, and Jackie Walker was one of those. And you know, Jackie Walker was a unbelievable player here. Played for my dad here at Fulton, and then went on to star at the University of Tennessee, where he was an All-SEC guy, All-American guy, and then moved on into the NFL. And so, you know, a black athlete who was a trailblazer like many others, you know, and so they honored he and Condridge Holloway, T. Martin, was Lester McLean. Yep. So 4 guys, and like I said, they did a good job. I was able to, you know, see Jackie's family, you know, over at the event yesterday, and several other people that we knew. A lot of the 1967 team that Jackie played on here were there for the ceremony, and that was pretty cool. And then Matthew Gale, who played for us a few years ago and recently graduated from Austin P as he played football there, his nephew, and he was there as well. So just a neat experience. You know, Jackie Walker meant a lot to the University of Tennessee and continues to mean a lot to Fulton High School and in our history.
Well, and you've obviously been around Fulton High School football for a long time, and you've heard the stories. And you know, when you talk about the greatest players in the history of Fulton High School, he has to be right there amongst the top of that list.
Oh, there's no question. You know, just they talked about what an unbelievable athlete. I think he still holds the SEC record in interceptions returned for a touchdown. You know, and he was a linebacker. So just an unbelievable athlete. And you know, I hear stories after story after story about him and his playing days and what an athlete he was and the way he played the game and the way opponents always feared him. So wish I would have been a little older back then and been able to experience, you know, seeing him play like that.
That was a great ceremony. And then today, speaking of the University of Tennessee, the Vols won yesterday, or actually 2 days ago, now that it's past midnight, over Bowling Green. And you had an opportunity to have Coach Josh Heupel visit Fulton High School today. And when college coaches come to make a visit with you, what are those visits like? What are some of the things that you have the opportunity to talk about?
Well, it was nice to have him on campus today. So we probably spent 30 minutes, 45 minutes together in my office today. And, you know, you talk a little football, you know, you talk about what they're doing there, what we're doing here. A lot of it's about building relationships, you know, and he's new here, you know, in town. So, I've been on the phone with him several times since he's been here, and we've texted back and forth several times. But today's the first time he's been in the office, and so just trying to build relationships, and it's kind of a two-way street, and I think he's doing it the right way. When you go out and start visiting your local people, you're letting people know now that, hey, that we're going to try to take care of home first. And so I think that's important to the people here in Knoxville. And so it was good to have him on campus. And then he'll ask you a little bit about players that you've got right now, upcoming players, and maybe some players that you have coached against or played against that maybe he doesn't know about. So. And then he talked about the history of our program. He had done some homework, and he knew a little bit about what we've done here. So, a good day. It's good, again, to have him on campus, and enjoyed watching them play last night, and I know that he's going to continue to get them better and better.
Well, and you have been impressed with the fact, the amount of engagement that he's had with you personally and, and other high school coaches.
Probably, I think it was the day that he got to town. He texted me and said, hey, I'd like to sit down with you soon, whatever, get on the phone with you or whatever. So, we texted back and forth a few times, and then we're able to get on the phone and talk. And so, again, I think that's what you got to do. It's, we talk about, football's a game of relationships sometimes. And so, I want to have a relationship with my players, or our coaches do, and our players a relationship with each other. Those are important. And then, I think college and head coach kind of relationships are important, and he's working at that and trying to get that done and build those relationships. So looking forward to seeing some of our guys have an opportunity to go play at the next level, and then looking forward to seeing what they're able to get done over there on the Hill.
And speaking of that, with college football season starting, still a lot of Falcons, former Falcons, playing college football, and I know that's something that has to make you extremely proud to follow all of the Falcons as they play on Saturday.
Well, tomorrow's going to be a busy day for me again. Now, it won't be because I'm on the road, but it'll be because I'm following up and checking up on all the guys that I've got playing at different colleges and universities all over the place. And I spent some time last week texting a bunch of my guys, at ETSU, MTSU, TSU, Mississippi State. We've got them in a lot of different places, and so just texting those guys and them texting back, me checking in on them, wishing them the best. And Dom Williams, instead of texting me back, he waits till I get home that night, and so we spent, 30, 45 minutes on the phone just in conversation, and so it's always good to catch up with those guys, and makes me proud to know that they go to the next level and they're staying there and they're working on a degree. And I learned something about Dom that I didn't even know. And so he has finished all of his undergrad classes now. And so he'll walk in December and is already starting to take some kind of grad level classes. So that's pretty cool to see you guys doing that stuff. Got to spend some time with Matthew Gale, like you said yesterday. And Matthew, graduated this past spring from Austin Peay, and could have played another year because of the COVID deal, but opted to go ahead and start his career, in the workforce. So awful proud of all those guys, and look forward to every Saturday getting to kind of follow those guys, whether it be on social media. I plan on watching Paige play at 4 o'clock tomorrow at Mississippi State. So it'll be a fun day on Saturday.
And we'll try to spotlight some of those guys in the upcoming weeks that are still playing college football, so be looking for that. Well, you put this Anderson County game in the rearview mirror. You try to forget about it and move on to a home game against one of the best teams in all the state of Tennessee. The road does not get any easier. You have the West Rebels coming in on Friday night to Bob Black Field. Traditional rivalry, didn't get to play West last year, but they have an outstanding football team.
They do. Lamar does a good job. They've got good players, good athletes, good support. And so West has really built that program over there. They've got a good football program. We respect that. But look forward to playing them. Like you said, didn't get to play them last year. We'll put this one to bed tonight. I'm going to go up there and watch a little bit of film, when we finish here, and try to pick out some positives, and then try to find all the little flaws that we had that we need to get corrected. And fortunately for us, you look at those and think, man, they're all fixable. They're correctable things. It's not an effort thing. It's not anything more than, hey, we made some mistakes here and there and we got to clean it up and get better.
Well, and Monday will be a holiday and a little bit different time for practice, a little bit of change of the schedule, and I know you'll be excited to have your team back together just to try to put a positive word out there and try to get momentum going forward for West.
You know, went to war tonight, got some guys banged up, bruised up a little bit. Other than that, I think we're fairly healthy. Got a couple guys that have a little concern about, but yeah, we'll put it to bed and then we'll come in, you know, Monday at 10 a.m. and get the team back together and we'll watch film together and, you know, start installing our game plan, try to get some conditioning in and prepare for, like you said, a really good football team in the West Rebels.
It'll be Fulton versus West, the traditional rivalry that dates back to 1951. It'll be played at Bob Black Field coming up next Friday night, and we hope that you will join us. If not, we'll have the broadcast on WKCS Radio and also the video stream on the WKCS Radio YouTube channel. For the head coach of the Fulton Falcons, Rob Black, this is Russell Mays, thanking everyone who makes these broadcasts possible. Robert Sheffield in the radio studio. Nicholas Slagle, as always, our technical director, and Jackson Powell also with us here tonight. So for everyone here at WKCS Radio, until we talk to you next time, this is Russell Mays saying thanks for listening. Thanks for watching Fulton After Dark. Reagan and Anderson, you better be in bed if you're seeing this. Good night, everyone.